Well, Camper Conversations, episode 2. Today's topic
is On the Radar.
On the Radar. Okay, so what's on your radar? Tell me.
My radar?
Yes.
Radar in life right now.
What does it mean to be on your radar?
To be what I'm thinking about, what I am interested in, what I'm learning, things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go. Let's start heavy.
Oh.
Most people start light. Let's start heavy.
Okay.
What's on your heart?
The world.
The world.
The world.
The world.
I mean, it's because it's not just America. It's the whole world.
Yeah.
What we're going through right now.
More specifically, be careful of the language you use. I guess I could
Yes.
edit some of this stuff out, mute it, but
Okay.
more specifically, what are you talking about?
Globalists.
Globalists. Like what? What do you mean when you say globalists?
Like the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
The WEF.
Sounds like a wrestling group.
No, I think about them. I think about...
What does that mean? What is a WEF, and why are you so worried about it?
Well, they are just...
Tell me.
Well, it's hard to say without saying everything. Well, it's a bunch of globalists that want to control and manipulate and, run us. Like they pretending to be gods. That's what, with our money, with our lives, with,
Our rights?
the thing in the arm.
The thing in the arm?
Yeah, and everything else, food, population control, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and what's on my radar right now is trying to prepare and to be prudent of the future for our family.
Yeah.
With all that entails.
What does it mean to be prudent again? Can you remind us?
Prudent means to take great care or thought for the future.
There you go. So, we have been paying attention to not just U.S. politics, but world politics, things that are happening in the world. And it's funny how some people would just rather bury their heads in the sand and ignore it, as if it's just going to pass right over them and not affect them. And we're seeing now that that's not true. So there's a lot of things going on. There's food shortages that are on the horizon. Okay.
And food rising prices.
Rising prices. Yeah, you were saying the other day, food's already going up like 10-15% already.
Yes, yes. And inflation with gas. I mean, we see that immediately in gas, but 2 cents, 3 cents here on prices in the store. Another day I went in, it was like 15 cents, 30 cents higher. I was like, what?
Yeah, and you say 15 and 30 cents. I'm sure the average person goes,
yeah.
What's 15 or 30 cents? What does that matter?
Times 200 items.
Yes. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like 20, 30, 40 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So those things are going to matter. Now, are you meaning to be fear-mongering? Are you fear-mongering?
No,
are you just trying to scare people?
No.
With these conspiracy theories that have books written about them and people publicly talking about them and saying they're going to do it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, it's just reality.
It is.
I mean, it hasn't been reality for America I have no idea how long, but it's a reality all over the world and many other places.
Yes.
Just we haven't ever experienced our lifetime.
Yeah.
So, you always hear of, when you're eating, when you're little, well, there's starving people in India, starving kids in India. You need to eat all what's on your plate. Well, yeah, there really are. And there really are a whole lot more now. And there are more in America even now. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say that...
So what's on your radar? What's the big, heavy thing on your radar this time? Lately? Has it changed?
So what has changed for me? My radar obviously is always politics, because it affects us. It affects you. It affects me. You have tax money. You have rights. You have freedoms that are being taken away. And I think it's along the same lines as what you're saying, in that you're talking about like the effects, food shortages. You're talking about the treatments for sicknesses, things like, you're even talking about sicknesses that were put in play to affect countries, right? But I'm talking about like these governments that are using this as an opportunity to take away rights and freedoms.
Yep.
That bothers me. It frustrates me. And I tell you what frustrates me the most is sheeple. Sheeple. They're people who are just sheep. They're just, yeah. Is football on? Is football on? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, your rights they're going away. And your money, and your job is probably going to be gone here pretty soon. If you're in the oil and gas or coal industry, sorry. Yeah. It's gone. But hey, football's on.
Yeah, as long as we have a chicken in the pot and Netflix. Yeah, we're good.
Yes. Chicken in the pot and Netflix.
Yep.
We'll do whatever you want. Just leave us alone. Yep. We're that weak in that way. Yep. I think our country is. But then you have things like government printing money. And the more money you print, the less value your dollar is. And so if your dollar isn't very strong, it's going to cost more of those dollars to buy something that was so simple. That goes back to your issue of inflation.
Yes. And I have a great YouTube channel for y'all to look up if you're interested in watching, what the stock market's doing, with silver and Bitcoin and just inflation, what's going on money, is Jay Bravo.
Jay Bravo.
Jay Bravo. Right. Great YouTube. Yeah. He's got a great personality. He's moving to Texas.
That's right.
Yep. So y'all got to check him out. He's really good. He's got the tall, like, blonde hair that goes up.
Yeah. I don't think that's his real name. I think that's his character. Which I think is fine. I like that he's also a day trader. Because that's, you were to ask me, what's on your radar? Trading is on my radar. It has been for a couple of years. I kind of took a break all last year during the election political time to really do anything but focus on that. And now that it's over, I'm like, cool, I'm going to just relax and I'm going to look at stuff like this. It's not helping the blood pressure, though. I'm just saying. So
I know. I wrote a list. I'm going to go through it real fast of the things that I wrote them on my nifty Did
you really do that? Wrote it on your cup?
Wrote it on my cup.
She can read it.
Yeah, we just went on a date, and we always get a drink to go because I can't ever leave anywhere without getting a drink to go.
That's right.
Anyway, so first thing, preserving food, gardening. Let's see. Self-sufficiency. Because we can go and buy all we want at the store, right? Or all we can afford at the store. And we can go and put it in a prepper pantry, a working pantry, whatever you have. And then, it's stored there for so long, 5 years to 30 years or whatever you have. And you just don't touch it. And all of a sudden, if something happens and you touch it and you start digging into it, that's like you've set the timer. Like you start the timer to where when you're done with that, you're done. Like, let's say you can't go back to the grocery store without getting or
getting a what? Do that again, slow-mo. No.
Without getting that or having to show some form of something to get in. Or the value of your money, and you just can't afford it. So, but once you start digging into that, and when it's gone, it's gone. So you need to start building a form of sufficiency, self-sufficiency, whether that's you start a garden in your home, or you start a garden outside your home, or, if you have some land, then you can get some chickens, you can get some rabbits, you can get a milk cow if you have it, and start being self-sufficient, being able to take care of yourself. So that's huge. Because
well, you need to ask yourself this question. You need to say, where does your food come from? Where does your water come from? If you can't answer that, or if you don't know, and I don't want to hear Walmart, but that's really the answer for most people, is Walmart. Well, what happens when Walmart doesn't have anything? Toilet paper, anybody? Right, but what about just basic fruits and vegetables, things like that? I mean, it helps to, once again, back to the people digging their head in the sand and just not paying attention, not caring. Why be that way? Like, why be so dependent? Back to China. China produces, we consume. Why are we so dependent upon them?
Yes.
You know? So, and most people go, you know, people like out on the land and stuff, they say things like, well, you know, we live in the country and, you know, we'll be all right. We got a few animals. What happens if your electricity goes off? Can you get water from your well? Can you? If your water's 250 feet in the ground, how are you going to get that? How are you going to get that water out? You know, unless you've made plans to be able to get it up from the ground to the surface. So, where does your water come from? Where does your food come from? Could you be self-sufficient if you had to?
Whether that's putting rain barrels out under your
roof.
Yeah, roof, your thing. Anyway, okay, I'll go to the next thing. Silver. Silver is a big thing on the radar because
it has value. It has value.
You need something with value, whether that's silver or gold. But usually silver would be more tradable, you know, if it came down to needing to get something. Let's see, homeschooling. And homeschooling, I know, is like, but thinking about next year.
Yeah.
Because if something happens between now and next year, right, then I want to be able to just move on to the next grade without not being able to get my curriculum in, and just to stay ahead of the game, just get my stuff for next year.
Sure.
And Millar bags.
Millar bags.
If y'all, yeah, Millar bags. Millar bags are great to preserve and to put your food in, and to they're like foil looking bags. You put your stuff in, you seal it with an iron or a flat iron, and it preserves your food, helps it to stay airtight with oxygen absorbers for certain things up to 10 to 30 years, depending on what you put in it. Oh, I got a hot topic.
What is it?
On my radar is finding spouses for our children.
Uh-oh.
Well, first we have our older ones are sons, so finding great wives for them.
Yes.
But
when you say great wives, you're alluding to something.
Yes, I am.
More specifically, tell us what you're alluding to.
Well, first of all, they, other than being the obvious, a Christian.
Yes.
And being equally yoked according to what the Bible says. But to having someone that has the same convictions. You know, obviously we are right now sharing our convictions with you of what we are interested in, what our family is about. But finding someone
who doesn't have their head buried in the sand. How about that? Yay!
Yes, exactly. Not a sheeple. Yeah, so.
Well, because you think about it, this spouse, whoever she may be for our sons, and he may be for our future daughter, or for our daughters, they're gonna be raising grandchildren.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's part of just being generationally faithful, I think.
Yeah.
Now, we're a little ways away. Like Sam will be 18 this year, right? But that's when he starts dating. We've talked to him that he can start dating, you know, when this happens, and that's something we need to work with him on. We're working with him on that. It's not like, hey, just go find one, figure it out. What are you talking about? Why would you do that to your kid? I mean, some of parents, even maybe some of you guys, you have a bunch of baggage, a bunch of issues because of bad decisions, right? We've all had bad decisions. We've had bad moments, but they should have been something we grow from, right? And if that's the case, then why wouldn't we use that to help our kids navigate the waters of that? You know, I don't know. Some people say, you're just trying to manipulate, and well, I am. We're gonna completely have a arranged marriage, and we're gonna wait. What about the daddies with their daughters? Now this drives me crazy because my oldest kids are boys, and the dads and their daughters, and what do they always say? Dads always say, "Yeah, there ain't no boy good enough for my girl." Well, your girl ain't good enough for my boy. That's what I'm saying. What? Somebody had to say it. What in the world? It's such an insult. It's a backhanded compliment to any boy. And I get it. Oh, I just love my daughter so much. But as if your daughter is so wonderful. I'm just saying. By the way, have you seen the crop of young ladies? The forward, what's commanding? What's the deal with them?
Yeah,
Aggressive and just, borderline feminists of don't open the door for me. Look. I don't need that. I'm raising my son to take care of a wife and to protect her and to lead her. Uh-oh. Was I supposed to say that? That means she's to follow. Oh, what are we doing here? Just shot myself in the foot there. Well, if that offends you, then you're probably not going to be on the radar. Right? Right? I mean, it's kind of like Amy Coney Barrett. So Amy Coney Barrett was, the Supreme Court justice. Recently, she was made into, Supreme Court. But they had to interview her, and one of the guys asked a question. One of the congressmen, and he said something. He said, "Yeah, like 6, 7, 8 kids or whatever. How many loads of laundry do you do?" And her response was priceless. It was, she responded, really kind and sweet. But if you think about it, that question right there, how would you have responded? The average person goes, what does that have anything to do with the job? What is he, a chauvinist? What are women only supposed to do lunch? I mean, but if you think about it, that question in and of itself was a telling question. Mm-hmm. It was like, how are you going to respond? A woman who is a great mom, who loves being a mom, who knows that laundry is a part of being a mom, would probably look and, like she did, smiled at him and gave the honest answer. Excuse me. And it was like, if there was a bunch of feminism in you and a bunch of resentment and whatever, at least towards your kids or family or whatever, it would show up. And it didn't. It didn't show up. And it was a telling question. So if I've said something that is alarming you or frustrating you, maybe that's just a telling question. Mm-hmm. So.
Mm-hmm. I have one more thing on my list.
What?
It is witnessing.
Witnessing.
It is witnessing. That's on the radar because
absolutely.
All the more as we see the day approaching being the return of Jesus.
That's right.
Then we want to be obviously sharing the truth and sharing the gospel of Jesus. So every Sunday after church, we go to church on Sunday. After service is over, we get together, all of our kids, and we have other kids that come with us, and we walk out into the neighborhood and we pass out gospel tracts and pray with people, and it's been a blessing. I mean, because what's going on in our world and how much pain and weirdness there is just going out and doing that, because of course you get some response that are they're not that happy, but most people really are, like, they're a little, what? And then and then you pray with them and they're like, well, thank you for coming. Well,
we live in hard times, and the average person is struggling with something, whether it's a death or, did I say that word? Whether it's a death from a certain sickness or a lost job or whatever, income. Mm-hmm. And so when you ask somebody, hey, how can I pray for you? How can I ask the God of heaven and earth to impact your life on your behalf and bless you? That says a lot to people. Mm-hmm. It helps them bring their guard down, and then maybe even soften their heart a little bit, and you can share the gospel with them, which is called the good news. Gospel means good news. And I tell people this all the time. I'll tell you, I liken it to if I had cancer and you had the cure, would you share it with me or would you hide it from me? And you see, the issue here is not cancer like we think of cancer. The cancer we're speaking of is sin and death. There's sin in our lives, and because of that sin, it brings about death. That's the scripture. It says that. physical death and even spiritual death. But Jesus came, died, lived the perfect life we couldn't live, and died and rose again to conquer death and give you and I the free gift of salvation. Now, I don't know about you, but that's good news, wouldn't you say? And so, why would we hide that from people? If we all know that one out of one of us is going to die, right? And we all know that the default is toward hell because of sin that's in your life, my life, then it's good news to know there's a way out of that, right? So we share that with them and whatnot. Okay, so my radar, kind of alluding and switching into this, is discipleship.
Yeah.
So I think moms and dads, really dads, daddies need to lead spiritually. I think the church is very asleep right now. But because of the sickness and all the lockdowns, everybody's kind of turned inward, right? They were inward. We're towards the family. We're towards each other. Feelings, everything. We're hidden behind masks. We're bumping fists. We're hitting elbows, whatever, you know. There's no touch, no talk, don't even look at me. Don't even cough near me, okay? Stay 6 feet away. It's kind of, think about all these things and how that impacts the church. And if you think about it, Satan is brilliant because he's completely squelched missions. He's completely squelched evangelism. And we're actually countering that by going out and witnessing. And I think people receive it well. Some people don't like it, but that's life. But discipleship is when you're teaching your family. Really, daddies need to be doing this. And if you're a mom, you're the head of the household, you're a single mom or whatever, mamas need to be doing this. So, see, I'm not a chauvinist, okay? So I said women too, all right? But what I'm getting at is that you need to be teaching the Bible to your kids. I mean, the Bible is where we get our standards, right? Think of the 10 Commandments. Don't kill, don't steal, don't steal, don't kill, don't steal, don't lie, leave your neighbor's wife alone, leave his stuff alone, right? Right? Honor your parents. These are basic things. Then there's the things that pertain to our relationship with God, and the worship of Him, on going to church on the Sabbath, not worshiping idols and the things we see on TV and the things that we value the most, but really aren't honoring God, you know. But how do your kids know any different if you never teach them, right? So these are just things that I feel like is important. We do this weekly, right? So.
Okay, discipleship is it's a walking of life with somebody else, and like when Jesus had his disciples, they went everywhere with him. They ate with him. They it was bed. They went to bed. They just lived life. They walked. Everything that they did. So that's what us as parents do with our kids. We are discipling all day long, in everything we're doing. And sometimes we're not paying attention, that we're not being intentional about it. And sometimes just stopping and thinking that what you're doing at that moment, whether it's homeschooling or you're, making dinner together, that you are discipling. But being intentional of certain things, like having Bible time with your kids. I do in the mornings, on school day mornings. We have Bible time with me, for those that are home. And then we do at night. Jake leads, and we sit around in the evening. We usually, after supper, we get ready for bed, take showers, baths, get pajamas on. We might play a little game of handball. Well, by the way, we need to film that sometime. But and then right now you're going through the doctrine of Satan. Ooh.
Yeah, so I go through...
Nothing like that right before bed.
Yeah. Sleep tight, kids. It's actually very interesting, though, if you think about Satan. You see, God wants to be known, but Satan does not want to be known. Remember DC Talk and Jesus Freak? That's that song. What was the very beginning of it? If I'm thinking right, it says, the greatest trick the devil... Is that right? Is it that one? What was the one? There was one song they did from DC Talk. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world
That he didn't
that he
exist.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And you see, he wants to exist in the background. He just doesn't want you to know he exists.
Mm-hmm.
But God wants to be known. He gives us His Word. He tells us to dive in and to seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open. So we're big on that and teaching our kids that. And they need to see it modeled in my life. They need to see it modeled in her life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, the funny thing about walking with the Lord or whatnot is once you start making a public stand, you're kind of beholden to that. So let's say you're struggling with your walk, like you're struggling with your language or what you're doing or how you're acting and everything else. Well, I'll tell you what, go tell somebody about Jesus, or go ahead and start talking to your kids about the Lord, because they're going to notice. More is caught than taught, right? So they're watching how you're acting. So it's very interesting.
Yes.
In that way.
Well, that's all that's on my list, really.
It's been a good little talk, hasn't it? Yeah. Let's go something lighter. Okay, real fast, let's mention...
Oh, I have a couple YouTube channels that we enjoy.
Okay.
That we can, share with y'all. We talked about Jay Bravo.
Yeah.
And two more.
What?
We have them two more.
Yeah.
Ice Age Farmer.
Oh, Ice Age Farmer. This guy's great.
Yes. I mean, it sounds like it's an odd name, so maybe you can remember Ice Age Farmer, because I was like, what?
Yes. So this guy right here, he is he's very interesting because, okay, he's a young guy. I don't know if he's a tree hugger or whatnot. In that I think he's more a conservationist than me. I mean, we live off the land. We love the land, everything. We're not, he's not, I don't know, more or less. But this guy is interesting because he goes and he researches how your food is going to affect you. Food prices, food production, farming, and what is happening. So I want you to think about this. You're busy working at your 9-to-5 job or doing whatever it is you do. I'm doing mine. She's doing hers. We don't always have time to worry about these things, but you have guys like this that dedicate and focus their attention on this, and they make a living doing it, and they're good at it. And so he'll have a video. He'll explain something like soybeans. We're out of soybeans. And you go, why do I care? Right? But he explains that soybeans is in almost every processed food. It's in the feed we give our animals.
Yes.
And if you can't feed your animals, you don't have meat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts to talk about the agenda behind all this. In England, they're literally, or I say the UK and Europe, they're walking by and killing people's chickens because they don't want them to have eggs. They want to do away with animal products. Who wants to do away with? What are you talking about?
And they'll say there's some random bird flu, so they need to come by your house and slaughter all your chickens.
Yes.
Actually, they gas them.
They
gas all the chickens.
And so he's got articles. He's got links to them. He's very thorough. Okay, very thorough, and I like that about him. And so we actually joined his Patreon. we pay so he can keep working. Right? You keep going, bro.
Yes.
And we just gain the content from him and gain a little bit of knowledge as to where maybe the food industry's going, how it's going to affect us. I mean, we've got so many mouths to feed.
And when he said, like, the number one thing you need to start probably stocking up on as far as animal feed of the soybeans, it's animal feed, he said was chicken food. Well, we have lots of chickens, so it's like I guess we need to go get some more lay pellets.
Yeah.
Just because, in case.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So he's very. I think he's very beneficial.
Yes.
So the other one also, remember, is Jay Bravo. Jay Bravo is great because he's talking about money. Kind of tells you where it's going. Also does some trading stuff, which I like.
Yeah. And the last one is Prepper Now.
Prepper Now. Now, I like this guy's personality. He's a little dry, and he's kind of sarcastic, and I kind of like that. But we're part of his
He doesn't ever show his face, so you don't know his real name. You don't ever see his real face because he either wants to protect his identity and his job. He doesn't want to get fired.
Why do you like him, though? What is it you like about him? He brings content.
Yes, and he's really good at discerning. Like you're these guys, you get overloaded with bombarded with like information from all over, from you would say Q stuff and crazy out there stuff and true stuff, and trying to weed through it all. And
Well, he's a prepper.
yeah, he's a
and
prepper.
so he sees things with a different lens than most people, and we're kind of preppers too, so we kind of understand where he's coming from. And the other thing is that he has clips and things like this throughout his videos that are like things you would never see. Like you would never see any of this stuff in the media, in the mainstream media. And it is, some of the stuff is mind-blowing. Yeah. We're on his Patreon too.
Yep.
We've kind of taken money away from these big, massive companies where we've been spending a lot of money.
Yes.
Drafts and stuff. And we've just kind of backing off of that.
Yes.
And we've started putting money into these guys who have information and stuff that actually helps us and gives us more of a focus and a direction in how to live. But it's interesting. It's also good.
So, last question. What would you, what to leave with everyone? What would you like to say that you would want to encourage these people to do? Everyone listening, if you've made it to the end, that's great.
Yeah. All one of you.
No. So what would you want to leave with them? What would you encourage them to do or something?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
No, you go first.
I'd say read the Bible. Disciple your kids.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, you asked me. I said it first. I win.
Just kidding. Yeah.
This is a competition.
I know.
I say disciple. Disciple your family.
I would say, be prudent. Prepare for the future mentally and with stuff.
With stuff.
With stuff. I mean, all the above,
Figure out where your water and your food come from.
The things that you need most. Let's say you're a diabetic, and you need insulin. Go ask your doctor if he would give you or she would give you an extra month's worth, try to get 3 months worth, 6 months worth, a year's worth. And maybe they could help stock you up, and just be honest. Go, I don't know what the future holds, but I want to be prepared, because that would be huge. And if you have any other kind of sicknesses or diseases that you need medication for, get prepared for it.
That's right. That's right.
Besides the obvious food and water.
Yeah.
And well, thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Okay, greatest song ever.
Oh man, it has to be a Skillet song.
The greatest song ever. We're gonna leave you with this one.
Okay.
This is definitely not gonna be a monetized
And if you have
video.
a really good car or bass or a truck that has awesome sound in it, you just go in it, you turn the song on, you shut the doors, you blare it really loud, and
yes,
it's amazing.
It is. Enjoy. It's Skillet.
Yeah.
Thanks for
watching.
watching.
Feel invincible.
That's right.
Shot like a rocket up into the sky. Nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel